What's going on, everybody? It's FREEDO here for Your Overwatch. Today, we're going to be trying to answer one of the most important questions that are asked of us. How do I get out of my rank and get into a better one? Well, we think we found the easiest way to rank up. So in this video, I'll explain what that is, but also why it's not necessarily good for your player improvement. We've determined that duo queue is the easiest way to rank up, but in our opinion, not the best way to play the game as a whole if you actually want to master the game. I'll go on to explain the downsides, but first, the upsides. In duo queue, you can exploit things about the Overwatch matchmaking and hero meta. First and foremost, when you duo queue, you almost always will never get paired up with anything more than another duo, either on your team or against you, at least for us on PC. This means you'll likely find yourself in the types of games that we call the solo queue meta, where both teams are mostly solo queuers and are horribly uncoordinated, with the majority of players in the game having little to no knowledge of how the game should be played properly. Grouping up, initiation, focus fire, none of this is understood, making for a horrible play experience normally. However, if you go into a game such as this and select a power pairing of some sort, you can inflict massive carry potential on the entire match in just a duo queue. But the secret is knowing what these duo queue carry combos are and executing them. Right now, the strongest one without a doubt is Ana Reinhardt. With Ana Rein, if you can play both to a good level, you'll have such a massive impact on the game that it seems hard to lose, unless the other team is playing a comp that directly counters it. With these two characters, so many of your bases will be covered. With good Rein positioning, most of your team should be protected from unnecessary damage, but as long as they're in Ana's line of sight, they likely will stay alive anyway, charging Ana's ultimate quickly, and putting the strongest ultimate in the game currently in your hands. Nanoboost's charge rate is pretty obviously overpowered. You can charge it so fast that you potentially can get it every team fight, meaning that not only do you carry the tanking and supporting aspects of the game, but you quickly can become the main damage output for the team as well. And really, it comes so fast that any opportunity you have to use it successfully, you should just spam it out and brawl out the game until you win, on offense and defense. With Ana getting nerfed on the PTR, the time of this combo being really OP is likely to come to an end soon, but it's unlikely it'll ever go away entirely, as it takes quite a bit of coordination to deal with a Nano Rein, regardless of how often Ana gets it. Coordination that doesn't exist in the solo queue meta anyway. Other combos that can do well would be like Genji Zarya, Genji Winston, Winston Diva, Pharah Mercy. Essentially, it's best to find characters that you can synergize together with and utilize your duo synergy to carry the game. We could make separate videos on each one of these and how they're played, but that'd be for another time. Now, some people might ask, why is duo queue better than any other type of queue? Well, first, 6-stack is a thing on its own that has to be dealt with separately. 5-stack is out of the question. You're simply hamstringing yourself by gambling on your 6th teammate because more than likely you're going to be playing against another 6-stack, so that's never a good idea. 4-stacks sometimes get matched against 6-stacks, which is pretty rough. But to be honest, 4-stacks or 3-stacks feel to us at least as equally difficult as 6-stacking, but with the random element of randoms. You don't know what type of random teammate you're going to get and what their skill sets are going to be, and you'll have to somehow play into that. Granted, the other team is going to have that same issue, but oftentimes it feels that your 3 or 4 stack equalize out with each other, and it comes down to the performances and skill sets and hero pool of the randoms you get, which seems to be a very inefficient way to play. Your 3 or 4 stack might have synergies and plays set up, but oftentimes you'll need that random to fulfill crucial ability timings, like Lucio speed boosts, good gravitons, playing hit scan and shooting Pharahs out of the sky. Whatever the case may be, they're essentially going to have to know how to play in a 6-stack anyway, because that's how those games feel in terms of the synergy and plays that are set up. In duo queue, however, it feels more like everybody is uncoordinated and you're the one little pairing in the entire team fight that knows what they're doing, making it a much more easy environment to carry in. However, there's a downside to playing the game this way, that you're not really challenging yourself, sadly. This is the best way to exploit the matchmaking in our opinion, but one of the worst ways to actually improve at the game. Playing in a 6-stack against other 6-stacks is far better gameplay, but doing so may result in you being stuck at a rank while you grind out very difficult games against coordinated enemies. The ranking system isn't in a good place, unfortunately. We've made videos about it, but playing solo at let's say like plat rank and below can be a complete mess with ugly team comps, uncoordinated play, whereas the same rank playing in a 6 feels like you're playing a semi-pro scrim. Not necessarily with a pro mechanical skill set with Taimu aim, but with similar levels of coordination that the pros employ. Playing in a 6-stack is the proper game, and testing you and your team's capabilities. But the upside is, you're controlling all the variables. You shouldn't get any troll picks, or be surprised at the hero pool of the players you're playing with, but every other team will be just as coordinated. Playing in a 1 or a 2 gets you the solo queue meta, which gives you the easiest, most uncoordinated enemies, but also your fair share of uncooperative or unhelpful teammates. You can go in there and insta-lock a carry duo, but it may actually damage your mastery of the game. Because so many things that are common knowledge in 6 stacks at most ranks, like when to engage on an advantage, when to disengage, how to not trickle in and group up properly, none of that seems to be in play. So you'll just be going in there hoping to carry all of those mistakes that the rest of your team is going to be making, and only making plays with your duo, usually not synergizing very much with the rest of your team. Because there really just isn't a way to teach someone mid-game. I had a guy complain that I was playing too passive because I tried to call for a group up as a 6 before contacting with the other team, as he blanks in as Tracer over and over again, dying instantly, making us a man down before every team fight starts. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you get in the solo queue meta. So unfortunately, you have to go into it with the expectation that you're not going to get synergized play with any of your teammates other than your buddy that you queued in with, but that isn't really how Overwatch is supposed to be played. And even worse than the gameplay itself, the hero selection makes no sense either. You can have a Soldier and McCree on your team and assume surely an enemy Pharah would have to have a bad time against 2-hit scans, right? But it's not uncommon to find players in the solo queue meta spamming into Rhine shields as the Pharah bombards your backline. Unfortunately, complete ignorance of a hero's natural assignments and goals is the norm in the solo queue meta. In a way, it's understandable because if you never play in a full team, you might not know that it's the job of the hit scans to deny Pharah airspace first and foremost, and you could potentially spend hundreds of hours in Overwatch playing a character horrifically wrong. Spamming into Rhine shields, getting gold damage, and looking to your teammates and saying, "I'm carrying!" Yeah, it's not so great. So really, the advice to duo queue to go in to stomp the solo queue meta is really just to grind rank, not to improve. Because the style of Overwatch you're playing isn't actually conducive to the game as it's supposed to be played. So be wary of playing this way, as not only does it not teach you the game, but it may in fact teach you bad habits that when you carry over to playing in a 6-stack, you'll get destroyed for. So always remember, our advice to actually get better at the game is to play in a 6. Because no matter what your rank, you will actually be tested. You will see the ripple effect of your own misplay and the responsibilities of each hero on your team, and will have to coordinate to overcome the enemy team's strategies, as well as develop your own. And in fact, the state of the hero meta right now yields to a lot of strategies being very viable, and counterpicking hasn't ever been more prevalent. However, today, I also want to give you the answer of how to simply get a higher rank. Unfortunately, the ranking system doesn't accurately describe your skill level if you're in a 6-stack all the time, and your rank might slightly be inflated if you play in the solo queue meta, exploiting it in the ways I've mentioned. But if you purely want a higher rank so that you can finally reach the point where you find good teammates when you queue, which will never be perfect actually, or if you just want to look like you're better at the game, this is how you do it. So guys, what do you think about all this? What ways felt the easiest for you to rank up? What are some combos that you go into duo queue playing and see good success with? We might try it ourselves and cover it in a video. If you're interested in finding teammates to pair up with to play the game the right way, check out our Discord server linked in the description. Thousands of people have found teammates there. It's a great way to interact with other fans of the channel and get better together. Be sure to follow our Twitter, Your Overwatch YT, for stream updates, announcements, and more. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We upload each and every day, and we try to stream every day when our videos go live as well, so check out our Twitch page. Be sure to like the video if you found it entertaining or informative. It really does help us out. I've geared up my personal channel to also cover Overwatch esports, as well as going to be the home for the Coach FREEDO VODs, which is a series where I review your guys' gameplays each and every Friday after the podcast on Twitch. It's a good way to learn from your mistakes, as well as vlogs about the esports scene in Overwatch. All this stuff is linked in the description, so check it out there. That's been it for me. I've been FREEDO for Your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.